okay, you've got a landscape project, and the question is, should you do it all at once or in stages? Now, everyone, for the most part, wants it all done yesterday. But doing it all yesterday means coming up with all of the money immediately in one chunk. And because landscaping is a luxury item, and why stress over luxuries? You know, if you've got $20,000 saved up, and next year you're going to have another $20,000, and you don't want to do a $110,000 project all at once. You want to break it into 5-year stages. That can be done. Now, if you're going to do it in stages, it's very important to have an overview of the full design, number one, because then the designer / installer, which will be me if we're working together, can explain to you how the site should be going in efficiently. Because let's say you're pouring concrete, and you're pouring concrete that is in stage 1 to the front door. You're doing a new front door entrance. And then in stage 3, you're going to pour some more concrete round the side from the guest door around to the patio. Now, you're pouring concrete in stage 1, and you're planning on pouring concrete in stage 3. And the concrete needs to match, because that's what gives the garden cohesion. It doesn't feel like a polka dot, mixture of odd themes. It actually feels like it was designed by one mind and installed by one installer. Now, what you don't know is that it's hard, let's say it's colored concrete or brush concrete. It's hard to get the exact same finish because every person doing the concrete has a slightly different technique, one. So you're going to get more cohesion if it's done by the same person at one time. The other thing is cost. The pump truck is $600 to pump it. We're going to have it here, and after about 30 minutes, the pump truck will be done, but you've paid for 2 hours. The pump truck could now pour this other bit over here. And so you need someone who understands the efficient flow of things to explain these things to you. Or you could easily pay for certain things to be less cohesive and 10, 20, 30, 40% over budget by cutting them into the wrong stages. It'll fit your cash flow, but you'll end up paying more. You'll end up paying, $160,000 rather than the $120,000 to break it up. Now, that's one worry. You want to mitigate that inefficiencies through not thinking the whole project through. Now, the other thing you want to mitigate is construction inflation. Marin County gets more expensive to build in every single year. And there are the three reasons for that. Growing inflation in labor rates, growing inflation in material rates, certain materials just going offline. For example, all the Mexican pebbles, that came from Mexican riverbeds, they're running dry of Mexican pebbles. So now you have to go to a different material or a more expensive way of synthetically producing those, and suddenly you get a 20-30% price hike in that one material because just the easy ones ran out when we're talking about natural resources. And so there's inflation of materials, there's inflation of labor. But there's also regulation inflation. Marin Municipal Water District, to build a house, for example, used to charge $35,000 a hookup. Then one year, they changed it. Now it's $50,000. That's not 4%. That's 35% inflation in a month. And then, no, they want the plans in this format. They want this, they want that. Regulation inflation tends to be in very steep leaps and be unpredictable, and generally is not in your favor, meaning I've yet to meet the regulation that helped me help a client more than I was already doing, Plenty of them will slow you down, delay, etc., etc. So what's important to know is that if you break the project into stages, you will do stage 2 at, let's say, 4 to 7% more expense than you did stage 1. That's one, if that's the inflationary pressure. Now the other is efficiency. Let's say we pressure wash at the end of every job to leave it neat and clean. We do a $100,000 job, we pressure wash, leave it neat and clean. We do a $10,000 job, we pressure wash and leave it clean. If we do a $100,000 job in 10 stages, we're doing 10 cleanings. So that goes up 1,000%. The move-in, kind of figure out what we're doing cost, the figuring, what's going on here, what's happened here, those costs go up. The remainder, let's say we're doing brick work here, and then we're going to do brick work here, and then we're going to do brick work here. We're doing flagstone here, then flagstone here, then flagstone here. We finish the little flagstone here, and there's 3 pieces left over, so we haul it off. We finish the flagstone in section number 2, and there's 3 pieces left over, and we haul it off. But if it was done sequentially, those 10% waste remainder pieces just get worked into the next stage of your project. So there's usually at least 10% efficiency doing something as a unit rather than small units, plus the inflation, which can mean that, and then there's thinking sequence through. So the most important thing is to have a clear overview, break it into comfortable stages that are intelligent, and then be aware that if interest rates are low, and you can borrow and have instant enjoyment of the whole project, your hassle goes down. You have only 1 contract rather than 10 contracts to break it into 10 stages over time. You've got the efficiency of doing it all at once. So those are your tensions back and forth around that question.